Alright, so we're here with KB, one half of the host of one of the illest shows that was on SiriusXM for progressive hip-hop, Subsoniq Radio. So KB, I'm really glad I got a chance to sit down and talk to you. But I guess my first question is, for all the fans out there, how did you get started, with Subsoniq Radio and just going into that?
Subsoniq Radio, I interned at XM Radio back before they merged in early 2002. I had a college radio show out of James Madison University for 4 or 5 years before that. So I got an internship here, and K. Murdoch, who was a production director here, I started working with him on the show, and we started hosting together. And he had been hosting the show about a year before I got to it. So that's just, we formed a friendship, not only through music, but just, outside of the workplace. And once I got hired here and came out full time, I was co-hosting with him. So that was in early 2003, really. We had both loved, hip hop in general. And on the platform, they had and they still do have, a classic hip hop channel. They had kind of an uncut, raw hip hop channel. But we felt there was a gap there in terms of artists that were hip hop but weren't necessarily getting nationally exposed and weren't on the service. And the service started out very much as a revolutionary radio type feel to it, bringing stuff to the radio that you wouldn't be able to hear in regular radio. So we felt there was a niche there, and we started building it from there, and really got a strong reaction off of it. When we first started, we were on kind of the college indie rock channel, which was interesting because you had people who really loved it, and then you had mostly like 35-year-old and up white dudes who didn't understand what the hell was going on, you know what I mean? And we switched to a bunch of different channels over the years, but I've always gotten strong support on it. So. Just what I'm kind of feeling in my heart, man. I'm not a musician. Murdoch's a producer, so he kind of came at it from that angle. I've just always loved being in radio. When I was a kid, like 9 years old, I used to pretend I was a DJ in my room. I had friends who lived next to me who used to get like all the old Cool J and Curtis Blow and Houdini records, the vinyl, and that was really the first time I was introduced to hip hop. Was just going over to their houses and playing it and listening to it. So all that to say, I've just been a music lover, and so I kind of come at it from that angle, and Murdoch kind of comes at it from a producer, artist angle, and it works. De La Soul, when they were in here, was awesome for us. I mean, we both loved De La Soul, grew up on De La Soul. They were just such down-to-earth cats, really, gave us a great interview. That was one of my favorites. DMC, or Run DMC, was in here, and actually had, when he came in, he said he'd listened to the show religiously, and it blew his mind. And I mean, can't get much bigger than Run DMC. Right. I mean, me growing up, that was Raising Hell was the album I had on for years and years and years. So that was a great honor. Murdoch would probably say we've had all the members of Tribe Called Quest in here, not all in one, but as individuals. I'm sure he would say that. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot over the years, There's been a lot over the years. We had Gangstar back in 2003 when the Owners album came out. That was big.
You had Premier and Group.
Premier and Group. Right?
Dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
I think there's always progressive cats who make it into the mainstream. I mean, when Common started getting to be a household name, there was people who loved it and people were like, he's selling out his sound. I think it's good that it's always, Gnarls Barkley, before, they became a big group, they were known, CeeLo wasn't known as CeeLo, you know what I mean? He was Goody Mob, you know what I mean? There's always stuff that kind of makes it into the mainstream, and I'm all for it. Like, progressive hip hop, we kind of almost coined that term, like, back 2001. Really, a lot of people weren't saying that back in the day. We kind of coined that, but I don't want it also to be exclusive, Hip hop is hip hop, whether it's, Diddy, or it's, you know, Atmosphere, or it's Murs, or it's Flying Lotus, you know what I mean? So I just see it, you know, as people get more, as their music becomes available to not only more popular artists, but to the mainstream with the internet, with blogs and everything else. I mean, look at what Wiz Khalifa did, man. Like, he ain't getting, you know, a bunch of TV play. He's just getting, he's on the blogs, he's doing live shows, and his buzz and his followers and people who listen to his music the numbers are way up. So I just see it every year, somebody or a few people kind of break into the mainstream and keep it going, and I hope it just continues, man. So, but there's always great music, man. You just gotta dig for it, no matter what it is. If it's punk, if it's rock, if it's jazz, if it's hip hop, there's always great music out there. You can't just take what the mainstream throws at you. You just gotta dig for it. So.